Hi everybody, we are back in the man cave of an acting teacher for another video. I'm really glad you're enjoying these. I'm surprised that they've got such a nice response. But yeah, look, I'll keep making them. I've got the time to make them, and if they take up a bit of your time and give you something to think about and some inspiration, then I'm very happy to do them and pop them up online. Sorry for those people who didn't see yesterday's. If you do more the Instagram thing rather than the Facebook thing, it wouldn't load to Instagram for some reason, possibly a little bit too long, I don't know. But look, it is on Facebook. It was about acting technique. What is an acting technique? Okay, that's what yesterday's video was on. So you can find it on my Facebook page. Just look up my own page and send me a friend request at David Scott. I have an actor training page called David Scott Actor Training. It is what it says on the tin. The Applied Art of Acting, the Wednesday Workshop, the Friday Studio, any of my classes have individual pages as well. I'll just share these to all of those so you can see them on there too, okay? Thanks for the comment about the t-shirts that I wear during these videos. I didn't even think about that. I just throw on whatever's there. So look, I'll put on a different t-shirt every day. This one is an REM tour t-shirt, would you believe, from 1995, okay? You can see that. Yeah, so you can enjoy the t-shirt as much as you enjoy the information about acting, right? That I'm trying to put across. So today I've been asked to do a video about the applied art of acting, but I think that there is something more important, and it was requested of me 2 days ago, right? Which is to make a video or to talk about the creative state, how to get yourself into a creative state and to be in that creative state as much as you can, yeah? We can't be in one all the time, right? But certainly during these times that we're in, where things can be quite scary and a bit negative and worrisome, it's important for us to try to be in that creative state as much as we can and get as much as we can done. And this is why I'm always suggesting to people, you know, as well, to get out there and do some classes. You know, there's online stuff that you can do now. There's so many, you know, great teachers of various different things that are offering one-to-ones online, including myself. Not that I'm a great teacher, that didn't sound right, but you know what I mean, right? Yoga teachers and Pilates and singing and musical instruments, and you really need to keep yourself in a creative place to some degree, okay? And don't be too hard on yourself, all right, as well. If you do get a bit down, all right, of course you will, and get a bit worried about what's going on. We all do, I know I do, and it's just normal, all right? So I'm going to talk to you briefly about your mind and how you can try to get yourself to that place, or rather, how you can keep yourself out of other places that stop you from being creative. So I'm going to talk about your mind as being split into 6 parts, right? Now, let's imagine that these 6 parts are minds unto themselves, all right? So you've got the past, you've got the present, and you've got the future. And in your past mind, you have 2 minds, which is your negative past mind and your positive past mind. In the present, you have a negative present mind and a positive present mind. And in the future, you have a negative future mind and a positive future mind, all right? Now, as much as we possibly can, we'd like to stay in the positive minds of each of those as much as we can, but we don't, all right? But if you can be aware of which mind your mind has gone to, that's a start, and it's a really good start. You can say to yourself, okay, look, I'm in my negative past mind, yeah? I'm thinking about a bad relationship breakup, and that's stuck in my head, and I'm dwelling on that, and it's making me feel drained and exhausted, because that's what all 3 of the negative minds do. They make you drained and exhausted, yeah? And you can know that for yourself and say, that's where I am. Or if you have a trauma from your childhood or something like that, and your mind is stuck in that negative past, you know it at least, okay? And then there's steps that you can take to do something about that, and you can contact people who are professionals who can help you to do that, and I can put you in touch with them. In fact, I know some wonderful psychotherapists and psychiatrists and psychologists who I'm sure would be happy to talk to you right now. There are also those people who can't do one-to-one stuff in person, but can do it online, I'm sure, okay? So, if you get stuck in a negative place, in thinking about your negative past, a negative memory, be aware of it. If you're stuck in the negative present, which a lot of people are, everything's terrible, the whole world's falling apart, everybody's going to die, all of this sort of stuff, this negative thing that's going on in the present. You can be aware of it, try and switch it into something positive, all right? 5,000 cases of COVID-19 in Ireland. Very negative. There's 4.5 million people in Ireland. That's a little more positive, okay? It's not as if 4 million of that 4.5 million have this virus, okay? You can switch anything over to something a little more positive if you want to. You just have to be aware of where your mind has gone and then make the switch. The future. I'm going to be poor. I'm going to be broke. My mother's going to die. I'm going to be destitute. I'm going to die. Going to, negative, negative, negative. And at least you can be aware that that's where your mind has gone. Try and switch it into something positive, okay? Viruses need a host. When there's no host left, this thing will be gone. And within 18 months, there'll be a vaccine for it anyway. Positive, okay? It's not going to last forever. We will get on top of it, right? Maybe after it, there'll be a bit of a boom. Maybe people will have money and they'll really want to, get out there and do stuff and I don't know. There's a positive way of going there anyway, if you can see what I mean, all right? So try, if you can, to stay in the positives. The positive past. What a great holiday I had back in 1995. Or what a great concert I went to in 1995 in Brisbane where I saw Michael Stipe and R.E.M. do their thing. Yeah, that's a positive memory. That was a great time, right? Or even just a quiet time where you went on holiday to Portugal and you sat and drank beers in the afternoon and watched the sun go down, What can you do for your mind to put it into somewhere positive? Okay, you see my point. Negative is very draining, okay? It really takes it out of you, right? Positive can make you creative. How can I do that again? What a great concert that was. Can I catch R.E.M. again? Probably not, they've retired. But hey, Michael Stipe's doing things every now and then. I might be able to, well look, I might go over to the computer, stick R.E.M. on YouTube and relive that album that I went to that concert, that tour, yeah? And then you're being creative. Your mind becomes creative when you're in the positive place, yeah? What might my future be like? I'm going to be poor, destitute, I'm going to die. Positive. I can do something right now to get that future happening. I can take a class with Dave, or I can get back into yoga and get a yoga class happening online, and I can actually start preparing for a positive future, yeah? Okay, so positive makes us creative, negative drains us and exhausts us, okay? And sometimes it is a matter of taking those people in your life who are creating those negative feelings and going, sorry, can't be there, all right? I've got to look after me too, yeah? And that's okay too. And again, that's all your personal stuff, but you've got to look after yourself to some extent, as well as being as generous as you possibly can, as always, to everybody else around you, and fair play to you, right? Okay, now, there's two other minds, and these are important too. One is your unconscious mind, which you experience when you're asleep, all right? Now, your mind that's unconscious, when you get out of the way of it, it's infinitely creative, all right? It goes out to lunch. It goes to Paris. It goes and creates some fantasy. You're walking along with the Queen of England doing something or other. It'll do whatever. It'll pick anything up that you've thought about during the day and turn it into something enormously creative. What that means to us is that our minds are naturally creative, yeah? The problem with it is that they get exhausted and they get filled with negativity, and so there's no room for the creativity to happen, yeah? So when Stanislavski in his book talks about the inner creative state, what he's talking about is a place where the actor is present. That's number one, okay? Here, now. You might have heard acting teachers or directors say, I want you to be in the moment. And often, not even they really know what that means, but what it actually does mean is being in the present, right? We talk about this now as mindfulness or being present. Stanislavski talked about it 100 and whatever years ago as the inner creative state. Okay, it's the same thing, right? That inner creative state is where you are not stuck in the past. You're not thinking of the past, nor are you thinking of the future. You're only available in the present. Okay, so when you pick up that piece of script and you're going to look at that play today, that you're not worried about the past or the future, you're being present with that script right now, okay? That's the first step, is to be, as much as you can, in the moment. Don't worry about it if your mind drifts to the past or the future. That will happen. You forgive yourself, don't beat yourself up. But as much as you can, be present. And the way to do that, of course, is to find a project that inspires you. A class that you're doing ongoing that inspires you. A script that turns you on, yeah? Or a character that's really interesting to explore. Some people get involved in activist groups, political groups, so that your mind is present and solving problems and being active all the time. That's another way of doing it, right? For people who are not necessarily artists, okay? All right, so this inner creative space, right, needs also a rested mind. Now, Russell Brand will tell you all about transcendental meditation, and he is right, and I love that man very much. He is awesome, so you should be listening to Russell Brand anyway, right? He talks about transcendental meditation, which a lot of people in our creative entertainment business actually use. And you can look up the videos of them on YouTube talking about it. Jerry Seinfeld, Clint Eastwood, Martin Scorsese, you name it, Ellen DeGeneres, they're always talking about this transcendental meditation. It's very good, particularly for people like us artists who think very deeply about the world and can, if we're not careful, get stuck in an analysis of something negative, yeah? You need to let your mind rest, yeah? Now, for actors, being specific, when we look at a script, we are always dealing with a character who is in a crisis, okay? That's draining, right? So you have to remember that every time, even if it's a comedy, right? Even if it's Fawlty Towers, Basil Fawlty is in a world of crisis, right? The Pink Panther is in a, Inspector Clouseau is in a world of crisis, even if it's a comedy, okay? If it's a tragedy, right, or a drama, it will be a really hardcore situation that your character's in. It'll be a relationship breakup, or someone's been diagnosed with cancer, or somebody's dog died, or I don't know, anything. But it's always going to be something negative, right? It's going to be something in terms of crisis involved, yeah? Now remember, of course, that if you're going to connect your mind to the crisis of your characters over and over again, that mind needs to be rested. Now this transcendental meditation idea is where you go down into what we call this deep pool of pure mind. Okay, it's this big, deep, quiet pool of mind, right? It's not a belief or a religion or a magic trick or anything like that. It's literally where your mind goes when it stops working. Okay, and it's working when you're asleep. So you can't just have that. Even though it's good, it's not as good as really letting your mind rest. So look up meditation. There's different meditations out there to suit different people. I highly recommend it, even if you can just do it for 20 minutes, twice a day. It will help your mind to rest. At the core of it is allowing your mind to be restful. Okay, it's about allowing your mind not to be panicking about the past or worried about the future or anything else in the present, but just allowing it, if at all possible, to think of nothing at all. And for some people, including myself, if I can offer a personal experience, I've found it enormously surprising that I can in fact think of nothing. If I want to, I can sit still and close my eyes and think of absolutely nothing. I didn't think I was ever going to be able to do something like that. If I lie in bed and I'm worried about something, or I'm thinking about some horrible thing that somebody did to me or something or other, and I'm all churned up, I can actually lie in my bed and say to myself, okay, now, nothing. Think of nothing. And I just allow this pure concept of nothing to pop up in front of my eyes, and I just sit there or lie there, yeah? And sure, the negativity might drift back. That thinking of that experience or whatever might drift back, or worries for the future might drift back. Don't be hard on yourself. Just let them go away. Let them go away and try and be quiet there as much as you can, for as long as you can, for 20 minutes, that's all. But your mind will rest. And then you'll find, after you come out of that, you'll feel a lot more rested. You can go and get a cup of tea, and then you'll start to think about creative things. I think I might go and pick up a script. I think I might jump online and grab a Shakespeare monologue and just start reading it. Then you might start learning it. Then you might start breaking it down. And then you might start creating a character for it. And then you might video yourself doing it. And then you might send that to me, or a friend, and say, hey, look, what do you think of this? And then you're in this creative, present thing all of a sudden that you're doing because your mind is rested and you've gone into a creative place. I better stop because, again, I've gone way over time. There's no way this is ever going to end up on Instagram, but it will be on Facebook, okay? I'm going to make another video today about my own technique. I'll do that later on in a different t-shirt, all right? I hope that was of use to you. See if you can find your inner creative place. We'll talk about it again soon. Bye now.